Joy comes, tears fall. I'm learning there's beauty in it all. Joy comes, tears fall. But I'm learning there's beauty in it all. It's not hard to find it, you just have to look. Oh, God is good. Oh, God is good. How great this love. Oh, it's moving all my mountains. This perfect love, it's casting out my fear. How great this love. Oh, it welcomes me like family. And anywhere I go, it meets me there. He is good, and He is God. What I earned, it's not what I got. And He is just, yet oh so kind. What I deserve, it's not what I find. What more could I say about Him? My God is love. How great this love. Oh, it's faithful through my failures. This trusting love is with me till the end. How great this love. Oh, it's closer than a brother. This is love. He died so I could live. He is good, and He is God. What I earned, it's not what I got. And He is just, yet oh so kind. What I deserve, it's not what I find. What more could I say about Him? My God is love. I know my God is love. I know my God is love. This is enough to know my God is love. I know my God is love. I know my God is love. This is enough to know my God is love. I know my God is love. I know my God is love. This is enough to know my God is love. I know my God is love. I know my God is love. This is enough to know my God is love. He is good, and He is God. What I earned, it's not what I got. And He is just, yet oh so kind. What I deserve, it's not what I find. What more could I say about him? My God is love.
You know you can call me if you need someone. I'll pick up the pieces if you come undone. Painting stars up on your ceiling 'cause you wish that you could find some feeling. You know you can call me if you need someone. And I need you to hold on. Heaven is a place not too far away. We all know I should be the one to say we all make mistakes. And take my hand and hold on. Tell me everything that you need to say. 'Cause I know how it feels to be someone. Feels to be someone who loses their way. You're looking for answers in a place unknown. You need the connection, but you can't get close. Painting stars up on your ceiling 'cause you wish that you could find some feeling. You know you can call me if you need someone. And I need you to hold on. Heaven is a place not too far away. We all know I should be the one to say we all make mistakes. And take my hand and hold on. Tell me all the things that you need to say. 'Cause I know how it feels to be someone. It feels to be someone who loses their way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Midnight to morning, call if you need somebody. I will be there for you. Midnight to morning, call if you need somebody. I will be there. Midnight to morning, call if you need somebody. I will be there for you. Midnight to morning, call if you need somebody. I will be there. And I need you to hold on. Heaven is a place not too far away. We all know I should be the one to say we all make mistakes. Take my hand and hold on. Tell me everything that you need to say. 'Cause I know how it feels to be someone. Feels to be someone who loses their way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You say that you're okay, but you've been holding on for dear life. So many years of rain, you can't remember what the sunshine feels like. Inside you're hurting, you're worried, you're not deserving of a lifeline. Oh, but the hands that hold the stars say you are. Don't you know you've got a soul worth saving? Don't you know you're still a heart worth chasing? There's love
coolness of the garden to the chaos of the fall. When we saw the Red Sea parted and Jericho's tumbling walls, our love was leading us to freedom. You were teaching us your song. Through every page of history, you're right where you belong. From the beginning to the ending, you're the center of it all. It's for you and it's from you, and you alone. The author of our story, let it all be for your glory. From the beginning to the ending, you're the center of it all. From the promise of the prophets to the virgin birth, the one who healed the blind man was the king that came to serve. On a cross you bore my burden, took my sin down to the grave. And on that Sunday morning, you rolled the stone away. From the beginning to the ending, you're the center of it all. It's for you and it's from you, you and you alone. The author of our story, let it all be for your glory. From the beginning to the ending, you're the center of it all. You're the center of it all. And the tears that we've been crying, you're gonna wipe away. When you call us home to heaven and we see you face to face, we will join the saints and angels. We will raise a victory song, singing holy, holy, holy to the center of it all. Love it all. From the beginning to the ending, you're the center of it all. It's for you and it's from you, you and you alone. The author of our story, let it all be for your glory. From the beginning to the ending, you're the center of it all. From the beginning to the ending, you're the center of it all. You're the center of it all. You're the center of it all.
I speak the name of Jesus over you. In your hurting, in your sorrow, I will ask my God to move. I speak the name 'cause it's all that I can do. In desperation, I'll seek heaven and pray this for you. I pray for your healing, that circumstances would change. I pray that the fear inside would flee in Jesus' name. I pray that a breakthrough would happen today. I pray miracles over your life in Jesus' pray for your healing, that circumstances will change. I pray that the fear inside would flee in Jesus' name. I pray that a breakthrough would happen today. I pray miracles over your life in Jesus' name. I pray for revival, a restoration of faith. I pray that the dead will come alive in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name.
All right. Hey, everyone. Good morning. Hey, welcome to St. Luke. We're really glad you're here this morning. If you're joining us online, thank you. We're glad that you can participate with us. We do have a few announcements. I'm going to get mine out of the way since I'm already up here talking. Just a reminder that I think you guys know that we had our spring cleanup day a couple of weeks back. We had such a good time with that that we're going to do it again this coming Saturday. So May 6th, we are going to get together 8:30 a.m. And we're going to continue finishing up some things. And if you've got some tools, gloves, and stuff like that, bring it on out. We'll have a good time. So again, this Saturday, 8:30 a.m. And then if there happens to be any parents or grandparents in here with teenagers that are graduating from high school or college and want to celebrate that, May 14th is our day. We're celebrating it on May 14th. There's some information to get to the front office and to Roger. If you can get that to him, that's great. Craig, yes. I think you have an announcement for us, and I know Sarah does, and Marshall.
I do. Can everyone hear me, or do I need to have a microphone?
We'll get you a mic anyway.
For the people online. So I have to yell like in Saturday Night Live. Anyway, so this Sunday, 5:30 tonight. 5:30 tonight, reminder, that's the church potluck. So your dinner is set for a wonderful fellowship and dining at St. Luke for the potluck dinner. So I know some of you might be thinking, oh, I forgot. I didn't sign up. That's okay. Signing up is cool, but it's not required. Just come on and bring a side dish, bring a main dish, or bring a dessert dish. Just bring a dish. And we'll have a wonderful 5:30 potluck dinner. So, and if you're wondering what a side dish is, that's up to your definition. I yesterday watched the wonderful, amazing Omaha Maverick softball team win again. And I had a hot dog and Twizzlers. So in that situation, Twizzlers were a side dish, right? So, so 5:30 potluck. But speaking of softball trivia questions, what would be the best place to have fellowship and dining on Sunday at 5:30? Yeah, the potluck dinner before trivia night. Now, will I get at trivia night a softball question that easy? No.
All right. I missed something. So, Sarah, do you have an announcement for us?
Oh, that's funny. Yes, so after potluck is trivia night. So come for the food, stay for the fun, and if you have kids or grandkids with you, we actually have something for them to do in the gym. So come and join us. Oh, next.
The best thing I've had about today is I've learned today that Twizzlers are a side dish. So when I go to baseball games, I can just get up and get side dishes all the time. That's great. Hey, a couple things. Starting the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th is state track. And so we're going to be doing state track parking again. The main requirement for that is that you have to be able to know how to sit in a lawn chair. And then pop up every once in a while and greet people who are really glad to see you. Because most of them are from out of state and they're just glad they finally found a parking place for the state track meet. What I really want you to know as the church is that fundraiser, that supports youth ministry and in some ways children's ministry here at the church. And it's important as a fundraiser, but it's also important for the staff, because if we're not there to help park the cars, people park everywhere, and the people coming to work in the preschool, they don't have a place to park later on in the day. So if you can come, spend some time. It's a lot of visiting, it's a lot of greeting folk. If you don't mind being that, please join us. Also on the 21st, that morning, we're going to have an information meeting about St. Luke, a new member orientation meeting. If you know folk that you've seen, friends of yours that have been coming to church that aren't members yet, let them know so that they can take part in that. You see the little flyers sitting on top of the hymnals. They're for the Native American Awareness Offering. We've been doing this over the last couple of Sundays. Remember that this is one of those special offerings that the church takes that not only participates in ministries to Native American folks, but it is one of the offerings in which half of what we collect will stay right here in Nebraska and Kansas to minister to folk who are our neighbors and friends in and around the community in the area. So please give generously if you can. Are there other announcements that we need to make? Oh yeah, the Teen Center graduation party is going to be next Monday, not tomorrow, but the following Monday. And we need your help. After this service, after the 9 o'clock service and this service, we need to reset the whole church in order to set up the celebration. They have 40 seniors this year. It's the most they've ever had in a class. So if you can imagine, about after we get done, all the chairs are going to be out of this room, and all the little square tables we own are going to be lined up in lines so that the kids can lay out the things that they're going to show off for their graduation. And the chairs we've picked up are going to be put over into the great room, because imagine we have to set it up so 40 kids can sit who are graduating, and all those who love them and want to see them celebrate that, we got to set it up so that they can see that too. This room is the only room big enough where we can get all of that. And all of the gift baskets have to come up from the basement. So if you can stay after the service next week, or even come early to this one and help out, we could use your help. Anything else? All right, well then, let's switch gears, take a deep breath, and let's listen to the prelude.
Thanks, Joanne. Hey, as we continue with worship now and the lighting of the candle, I will simply invite you to read the words on the screen above, and then we'll continue. May the Christ in us see the Christ among us. May the Christ in me see the Christ in you. And if you'll join with me in our opening prayer together. God, whom we call love, you welcome us into this time of worship and remind us that this world, this place, and this moment belong to you. You welcome us as strangers and travelers on a journey we do not always want or understand. You ask that we feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and comfort those who mourn. O God, we ask that as we learn and grow and attempt to serve you and others, we will be given the grace to love you and our neighbors in all that we do. We pray that at the end of each day, we can say to those to whom love is a stranger, we'll have found in each of us generous friends. Hey, as you are able, would you stand up and we will sing the hymn together. They will know we are Christians. All right, you may be seated. Hey, so we're at that time in the worship where we invite you guys to tell us the good things that are going on. So, what are the things we want to celebrate? The good things that have happened recently. I'll tell you, at the first service, I think we had 9 or 10 people. I thought revival was going to break out shortly thereafter. So, hey, what are the good things that have happened this week?
So one of the good things for me this morning is that the Shane family is here. Lyle, Susan, and their son David. Lyle and Susan probably have as much to do with me being in ministry as any other people that I know. And David may not know it, but the whole family has as much to do with me being here at St. Luke as anyone else. So they're here. Please be kind to me. I haven't yet paid them not to tell stories. So during the greeting time, don't monopolize their time.
That's good.
And I have stories.
See them afterwards. good things. Yeah.
We celebrated my sister's 90th birthday yesterday in Carroll,
Nice.
Iowa, and the other sister came from Connecticut and shared with us, so it was very nice.
Nice. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. Come on, Park.
I had my sister and brother-in-law here for several days and really enjoyed the fellowship. And my brother-in-law's real handy, so put him to work with
Put
a
him
list.
to work. All right, there we go. Good job. Good job. Hey, other good things. All right. Hey, anything not so good? Prayers for things going on in the world that we need to remember? Okay. Yeah.
Just one of the good things. Carolyn Roten, who usually sits right over in there, she had her back surgery a couple weeks ago. She's doing well. She's just recovering at home. So I'm sure if you got a card or a prayer or a phone call that you want to send to her, she would appreciate it.
Nice. Thanks. All right. Hey, let's do it a little different this week. Normally, I would encourage you to find the soft place in your chair, and I still want you to do that, but we're not going to do our breath prayers. We're going to do something a little different. So as you find your place in your chair to sit back and relax for a minute, I'm just going to ask you to put your hands out as if you were receiving a gift today. And I invite you to see yourself receiving whatever it is this morning that you need. And I invite you to close your hands as you do to make it yours. You know what you need. You know the things in your life that you most need, that your family most needs. As you close your hands, I will invite you to open them again and to let go. You've received, and now I invite you to release. Release the things in your life, in your journey that hinder, that you don't really need. Whatever those are, you know those things too. And I invite you to take that as a pattern for going forward, receiving from God whatever grace there is, and releasing to God the things that you need to let go of. God, we remember that we are on this journey with you. A journey that we're not sure even when it began at birth, and a journey that continues on throughout our lives. We ask that you would be present with us through all these seasons, through all these times, through joy and through suffering and pain. We ask that you would open our eyes to see along the way the gifts, the graces, the many things that you have for us to see. We pray that you would help us in the journey with strength to do the things that need to be done. And God, we remember the words that your Son has taught us when he led us in saying, "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever." Amen. Sorry.
shepherd when we wander through the valley of despair, and the darkness overwhelms us. You are there, gentle your sweet correction, tender sheep back to the fold. Gentle shepherd, you became the sacrifice, and you loved in submission, when no man could pay the price. Gentle shepherd, interceding, leading us to righteousness, till we reach the upper pasture, where we live for endless days, endless days.
Thank you so much. As the choir finds their way back out into the congregation with the rest of us, let me lift up two things. Greet each other, visit. Also, if you were so kind as to bring one of the first fruits offerings to the church this morning for our campaign, you can bring them up to either one of the plates here at the front or either plate at the back as you're wandering around and greeting everybody else. Take time, say hello. We've got a moment. So let me remind you of things you know. You know that the book of Acts is just the book on the right-hand side of the pair of Luke and Acts. Luke was written not just to be the gospel, but also the first parts of the story of the beginning of the church could be told. So this is one of the stories told right at the beginning. It's in the second chapter as the people of God were beginning to form and organize themselves. From chapter 2, the 42nd verse. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers. Awe came upon everyone because many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. All who believed were together and had all things in common. They would sell their possessions and goods and distribute the proceeds to all as any had need. Day by day, as they spent much time together in the temple, they broke bread at home and ate their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having the goodwill of all the people. And day by day, the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. Hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying to the church. Thanks be to God. This morning, Abby's going to come up and take part in the sermon and tell us about the Teen Center. And she's managing the Brittany mic, which is always a challenge. So many of you have met, you know Abby. You know she's been, for our guests, Abby has been the director of our Teen Center for the last 16 years? Mm-hmm. 16 years.
Yeah, I started when I was 9.
You started when you were 9. Yep. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Not much more than 9, it seems like. And you know that things are changing. So Abby, things are changing. What's going on?
Yeah, so we have been in conversation with Burke in regards to a lot of different opportunities. And Mr. Rasmussen one day mentioned, we have space here if you'd ever want to move your program into Burke. With the build of Westview, which is 156th and State, that has pulled some students from Burke, so it's not as populated, which is good because it was way too crowded. And so with that, classrooms have opened. And so when he initially mentioned it, I was like, no, like, why would we want to be in the school? Ew, And then we kind of came back and you sleep on something and then you're like, well, you gotta, and bring it to staff. And we continued to kind of talk about it and it makes sense. It's the next step. So we're going to be inside the school, being able to provide additional services, advocate more for students, be more involved in their academics, be more available during the day. So we will all, we'll have 5 staff. We will have office hours. We'll be able to, pop in if they need this or that. And so we'll just be a critical piece to the Burke community, which that's what the administration were so excited to have us, which you kind of work with schools and you think, oh, push back here, push back there. They were like, we are ready, anyone to help fill the cracks and support the students and whatnot. And so we've had lots of conversations, lots of planning. We toured the building and they showed us a bunch of different classrooms, a bunch of different offices. And of course, I had to be a little bit bold and say, can I have a classroom and an office? And he said, yeah. So we have the old foods room, which is a large classroom with stoves and microwaves and refrigerators and laundry facilities. And then we have an office right off the library, so high traffic area, so kids can pop in if they need something or whatnot. So it's just kind of who would have thought in 2007 when we started talking about this teen center dream that we would now be immersed in the schools. It's the natural next step, so.
Yeah, so not only are you going to serve the students that you've had better, you're going to be able to serve more students, you're going to be able to be visible. Help us, tell us about how the program has grown, because I don't think, I know I did not have a good understanding of how things have changed, especially through COVID and all of that.
Yeah. So we opened in 2007, as a safe place. I mean, we had a few Burke teachers, we had a gym to play basketball in, we had a director who was faking it till she made it. We had a snack and a juice box on a good day, and interesting that we talk about that because I still, when I meet with students from that era, and I'm always like, I'm sorry, like, now look at it, I'm like, you got a granola bar, like maybe stale if, and like a high five, and it was so like simple, and I was like, look at us now. But I just met with an alumni from that era, and she says she listed off all these other students who were there. She was like, the Teen Center saved our lives. We were all on the cusp of gang life and all this other stuff, and we landed there. We're like, wow, we heard there was a place across the street. And so she's like, that diverted so many of us into like way deeper things. And so it was a good reminder of like even that in that simplicity and in that like basicness, the relationship and the love is what transforms. So I mean, as fancy as you can get, it doesn't matter if you don't have that like true love and that true relationship and dedication to what you do. So I mean, over the years, every year we got better and we evaluated different needs, and 7 or 9 years later, I hired some more staff. But now we'll have 4 full-time staff. So with this move, we hired an assistant director of data and academics. So she's a teacher. She used to be at Burke. She used to work at the Teen Center. She then went to Omaha South and now is at Papillion South. She knows the Teen Center. She knows Burke. She knows OPS. She took the day off the other day and went up to Burke with me, and I was like, well, I'll be over here. Just full steam ahead. And so she'll be able to assist us with a lot of that, like reteaching and teaching, individualized teaching. 20% of our students have IEPs, so have some level of special ed services. 1 of our students has an IEP that's being followed. Educators are overwhelmed, and so this is another area that we're able to kind of fill the cracks and provide supports. So, COVID was tough. Being a small organization, we were able to kind of stop and really pivot and address the needs of our students. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk to you or you, but I'm going to talk to them. Okay.
I'll just stand out here.
I know, right? Stand out there.
I'll feel like Phil Donahue.
There you go.
I'll tell you that ancient reference later.
But that's the joys of having a small program, is that we're able to sit down in staff and be like, wow, we see this as a critical need, this is a critical problem, let's problem solve. And so just be able to like ebb and flow with our students and families is a real gift, because a lot of times change takes a lot of time. And so we're at a point that I consider ourselves a wraparound provider. So we're able to provide our students with all the wraparound services and some basic needs that a big funder said we are the premier high school program in the metro. And so we're at the point where all that hard work and all that the little stuff has added up to the point where we're a successful, integral part of the community. And so I was actually meeting with the gal who teaches our cooking classes, and she says, man, everywhere I go down north, they know Abby Jackson, So she was joking, she was like, ooh, you got some street cred, people know you out there. And I'm like, isn't that great? Like that people now know, we were such a hidden gem for so long. We are no longer. And so our staff is integral and involved in the community, and we're beyond, I think, where we dreamed we would be in 2007.
From the vantage point I have, just kind of popping in every once in a while and seeing the energy I see out of the staff now about this opportunity that you've had for the best analogy I have is we planted this plant in a pot we thought was big enough 16 years ago, and at some time in those 16 years it grew up, and the pot was now the thing that was holding it back. And now that you have such a chance to be on a bigger stage, there's so many more plans and so much more energy, because now you can see where it's possible in all of that. Because you've gone from 4 days a week, 3 hours a day, to 5 days a week, 5 hours a day, just when you have active programming. That doesn't count all the time where you're out and about in the community or making plans or setting up all that sort of stuff. One of the questions many times I get to ask folk who stand up here is, how has your faith impacted your work or your imagination over time?
Yeah. I shared with Marshall earlier, I visit a young man who's incarcerated, and we've gotten through all the catching up of chit chat in life or whatever. Now we talk about like big life questions, and he said, like how did your heart, like were you born with a heart like that, or like what changed your heart to like make you care and like love folks like me deeply? And it was a really good reflection. I kind of like for once was kind of speechless. I was like, oh. But in reflection, looking back, I think a few things. I think in the moments where my life has felt heavy, I've had people step in and help me carry the load. And I see these, they don't like me when I call them babies, but I see these little babies carrying a heavy load, and so walking alongside and taking a little bit of that load off, and, but I also think the idea of trusting the process, like I mentioned those early years. I mean, I'd come home, and my husband is a veteran teacher and coach, 9 years my elder, and I'd come home and I'd be like, oh my gosh, you said I was gonna be good at this. I'm horrible at this, like day 2, And he's like, yeah, you just got to go back and love them. And I'm like, okay, that seems simple, but it really was. It was just every day, like building that like little relationship, and all those little things, just the idea of, the mustard seed, like, just all those little things, all those little pieces have built my faith to understand the depth of my purpose here on earth, and the depth of, servanthood, and, understanding that, humbling yourself. I mean, I take laundry home with me from families and do laundry at my house. The idea of like, I'm the director, but like, you do all those little things. You wash the feet, you do the gross stuff. We have a joke. If there's any bodily fluids, it's me, and it's just the idea of like, there's nothing that myself or my team is not willing to do to assist our young people. I mean, there are some caveats there, like we like laws and all that stuff, but like just the idea of the simplicity of do the gross stuff, wash the feet, And so I think understanding the depth of the hard and the gross is what kind of evolves into the beautiful.
Yeah. You're doing great. I'll stop you when you run off the edge. Yeah, Larry.
I've got a question. The success of this program is the leadership. So you can get a lot of credit for that. You talked about talking to somebody that's incarcerated. What's that about?
Yeah, so, I mean, just to, provide some level of privacy, but I mean, kids bump their heads, and I'm right there when you bump that. One of the, last year at the gala, and he'll be featured in our gala video, he brought a gun to Burke, okay? But to understand all the history of how we got to this point, but he said, in that moment, he said, I was a liability to everybody. I was a liability to everybody else. Nobody wanted anything to do with me, except the teen center, and except, and so you bump your head, but what? Throw them away? And so consistently being able to like show up and, okay, what's next? How do we, we're 18, you have a long life ahead of you. He owns a business now. He's a successful businessman, and so that idea of, I've always, one of my earliest memories is being down at the Dorothy Day Center with my father, 5 years old I am passionate about the forgotten people. And so, the young man I visit, I'm the only person who visits him. He's been in for 3 years. And so,
But he was a teen center
he was.
student.
Yep.
And you visited him after he graduated from the teen center.
Yeah, so I visit him about monthly. He has his parole in May. And so we coach, and what does that look like? And, you don't just walk in. No, you gotta, write a letter. Like the idea of, yeah, I mean, so you have all these success stories, and then you have head bumps. That's actually what I like kind of thrive in. I'm like, cool. Make plans. Let's ensure that, how do we not make these mistakes again? What's the plan? The hope. When I first started Teen Center, probably within one of the first years, a veteran person in the community said, she was speaking about herself, my job is to teach young people that the world is broken, and and that the world is broken, and how to like survive the brokenness. And I just remember thinking like, dang, I think my job is to teach the children that the world is hopeful and that there's hope. There's nothing you can't overcome. And so that idea where when you see brokenness or mistakes or whatnot, like to like really insert that hope of, you know, like,
But your connection doesn't stop when they graduate.
oh no. Yeah, but I have 0 restraining orders. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But they kind of joke like that. You can't shake me. Like it's like you need people to walk alongside you as you continue in this life. And that the idea of, you know, Jesus wasn't any higher than just, you know, he walked alongside. It is what it is. And life happens. I mean, it's weddings, it's funerals, it's all the stuff, you know. And I think that's where our relationship piece kicks in so heavy. You know, those first years were hard because we didn't have the relationships, you know. And now that we have the relationships, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So over time, has your experience with the Teen Center, with all the people you've built relationships with, has it changed your faith?
Yeah, you know, it has made me more faithful and more hopeful and more forgiving and more, you know, it's easy to like see a story and judge the story, or see a glimpse of something and pass it off. And so I think it's just much harder to like walk away from something when you know the depths of the story and the person. And so I think the idea of the belief of goodness in the world, and that, you know, I've always said, like, my job isn't to judge, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he will, you know, my job is to love, period. Like, no. So I think that has really, the idea of just loving without all the other critical potential thoughts or whatnot. Yeah. To love, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you see St. Luke walking beside you as you move across the street? What happens to the gala? What happens to serving meals? What happens to the requests that you have for, like, mattresses or different things along the way? How do you see St. Luke's role as we move forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the Teen Center would not be who it is, where it's at without St. Luke. And so the idea of, I like what Marshall says, the kid going off to college, like we're moving across the street, but that relationship, and we're working on some verbiage about, you know, because we have a new logo that has nothing, it's not really new, but has nothing really tying St. Luke to it anymore, but having that, some verbiage to say, like, you know, a program established out of the love and, you know, whatnot of St. Luke, or something along those lines. But all of that stuff is still going to exist. It's going to be in a different location. So we hope to have our graduation party here every year. You know, we're still going to need snacks and school supplies and donations and whatnot. We have this large classroom that looks like a classroom that we're going to have to put some time and energy into to make it not feel like a classroom. You know, we wanted to make it feel a little bit more homey. So if you're skilled in handiwork and painting and visions of decor, you know, there is going to be plenty of opportunities. Food service, we're in the process of like seeing what that looks like, because we're changing a few things with that. We'll still need tutorial services, which I feel like is always an intimidating thing, because I don't feel like I'm qualified as a tutor. A lot of times that's sitting alongside someone and saying, okay, open your bag, get your planner out. Okay, you got math today? Or you got English today? Okay, what page? You know, it's a little bit more cheerleading and coaching and digging deep. Okay, we don't know. Have you emailed your teacher? You know, so it's probably more coaching than tutoring, but we work with teachers, and the nice thing is we'll be right alongside another tutorial program, well, Burke's tutorial program. So the tutoring piece, I think people get like kind of intimidated by it, but there's still going to be plenty of opportunities to serve. The gala will continue. That's in October. I mentioned last time I was here, this is the first year that we have a non-St. Luke chair. So, well, we have it tiered now. We have an honorary chair and a working chair. So the Reimers are going to be our honorary chair. And then Carrie and Joe Kenny, they're the parents of Justin Estrada, who, gosh, is it 3 years now? 3 years ago was taken in a car accident, and they have established a scholarship in his name. And so they've been really involved in Teen Center and have attended the gala numerous years. So they're gonna chair. And so, yes, like the gala is gonna be a huge area in which we hope to see St. Luke folk there supporting. But the communication is where we have to be intentional. And so, I'm starting to work on a plan of ensuring, monthly we have videos kicked in here. What's going on? Because it's not, the out of sight, out of mind. We want you to know what we're doing. We're gonna have a big celebration at some point where you can come see the space and see what it looks like, see the office, So just being intentional about ensuring that we continue that communication, and the needs will absolutely still exist. With the additional hire of the additional staff, one of the things, the kind of long-term strategic plan, which I know is not as fun to talk about, but will pull me out a little bit more of the program to do donor relations and to, one of the gals at last service said, how many graduates do you have total? Probably 400-ish, but being able to like really put some, I'm still immersed in the program, which I love, but I gotta be out a little bit to, do some of that administrative and donor work, so.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the pieces of the evolution of the program that that I think we need to appreciate but don't often see first, is that for the longest time we've been saying, okay, how could we do this at other schools? How could we do that? And the problem is they don't always build a United Methodist Church with a gym right across the street from every high school. So it was tough to imagine how do you do that? Program's now in the school, so now you can imagine a different way of how you bring a different kind of program into a public space. Because I think one of the things I think about is this program was created out of a church setting, so there were no boundaries about how involved you could be in somebody's life. There was no limit around, okay, is this about education, or is this about, yes, education, but food and family and your experience and what you need and did you sleep last night and all that stuff that perhaps people in schools don't always have the time. The good people that work at schools, they don't have the time to ask all those questions. They can see it, but they're not always able to respond. And now there's a way that story can be told.
Right.
Yeah. Lots of things. I don't think all teachers I know love students.
Absolutely.
But I'm not sure that the first thing on the job description when they sign up for the position is the first thing you do is love. The second thing you do is never forget. Those are not things that get written there. Those are things that get written here, about who we're about. Abby, we got just a little bit more time. So the closing question is always, so what do you know that you don't think we know that you think we need to know?
Sure. There could be a lot of options there. I think the idea of, I talked about all that little stuff that all builds up. All the little things that you guys have done over the years, whether it's a pack of Cheez-Its in the usher's closet or, a $50 donation to the grad baskets, like all of that little stuff adds up and makes us who we are. And so, I've always tried to say thank you, but as we move forward, all that little stuff continues to matter. And so I thank you for that. All that little stuff is what built this program.
And immediately we've got next Sunday,
Oh, yes.
We need help. I've already told you about that. What you don't know is the first Sunday in June, we're going to need your help again. That's going to be kind of packing up day, because the first day the teen center can be at Burke is the 5th. So I'm grabbing the family farm trailer, and we're going to park it down there. And on the 4th, we're going to load stuff in it, as much as we can, of things that are going to be taken from here over there. And then the next morning, we're going to hook it up and pull it over there, and it'll be unloaded. So those are two particular,
Right.
Pieces that we'll be doing.
We're not taking much furniture. It's more boxes of things and whatnot. But yeah, we load the trailer Sunday, move in Monday, start summer programming Tuesday. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah. It really is like you're going off to college. Yeah, I got it,
Right, classes start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there any other question that somebody else might have? All right, then Abby, thank you. She's not immediately running out the door, I don't believe. If you got other questions or want to have a conversation,
be here.
we can do that then.
Cool.
Thank you very
you.
much. Okay, folk, after all that feel-good stuff, we're going to sing hymn number 2181 out of the Black Book. Now, here's the thing. I got no idea if we can sing this at all. So Joanne's going to play it through at least once for us to hear. We're going to see if we can sing it. We'll try 2 verses, and if we're not doing it, we're going to stop and we're going to read the rest of the verses. Okay? Will you join with me in the benediction that's up on the screen, and then we'll sing the last hymn, and then sit for the postlude. Join with me now. O God, now let us go in peace to live a faith that matters, to grow in the love of God, and to serve wherever we are led. I almost started us all over again, so